Whether you expected it or not, LSS just made a surprise ban and restricted announcement, all involving Living Legend. And there's been a lot of chatter over the past week and a half about the state of this format, whether or not it really needed to be part of the upcoming World Championship because of basically the way that the format has rolled out and evolved. And basically, it's just Runeblades at the top of the heap. It's Runeblades and maybe some other heroes like Starvo, but the writing was on the wall for this format, and Living Legend as part of the World Championship was fast approaching, and so an emergency ban and restricted announcement has been made. Deadwood Dirge is restricted, and Rosetta Thorn is straight up banned, and that is a massive, massive change. Specifically, Rosetta Thorn being straight up banned, Deadwood Dirge as well being restricted. These are huge changes to the format, but the question that I think we should ask is this too little too late? And I think LSS recognizes that the format needs to be reviewed and looked at. Here's the thing about the Living Legend format. From a conceptual standpoint, this is what LSS has been talking about since the beginning, an eternal format game that never rotates, that never, changes in the sense that, like you lose cards forever. You always have access to these cards in some way, shape, or form. It's eternal, and it's a selling point. It's a feature, and for a long time, it was one of the tentpole talking points for Flesh and Blood. But as this format has come into existence and been iterated on and changed, it's recognized that there have to be some cards that just can't survive, that just can't live. I'll turn the light on as my there we go. The surface of the sun has now given way, and you can see me now. But there's been some realizations that some of these cards are just too powerful to remain in any sort of format. It was just a mistake for some of these cards to be as pushed as they are. Rosetta Thorn, I think, is one of those cards, and they recognize that. And understanding that there conceptually is this cool idea of having an eternal format where you can do very powerful things and very degenerate things. While that concept is strong, if it's not done in a way that is engaging or that is fun or that allows for people to actually play the heroes that they, got to fall in love with back in Classic Constructed, then what's the point of the format? Because if the format is just wholesale Runeblades and Starvo and everyone else is just down a peg, or Runeblade Ninja Starvo and everyone else is just down a peg, then no one's going to engage with the format. I think that's where LSS is at. Looking at a complete overhaul of the format, I think, is a good thing. And again, I don't want to say that this is a bad format, because I am a proponent of being able to play these old heroes and breathe new life into them in this new format. But it's clear that unless, I guess, further bans are made or further, tweaks to the card list are made, that you're really having to kind of go back and cut it off at the stump. Now I got to turn the light off. See, this is why I just closed the windows. This is why we do this live. You almost have to just go back to the stump and recreate this format from the ground up. And then how do you make that different from Classic Constructed? And the answer might not just be able to be, well, it has all of the heroes. It has to be something fundamentally different as well. And maybe tomorrow is the better time to talk about what I've been thinking a lot about since Silver Age is announced. But I know they're committed to Silver Age as well going forward, and it appears on the face of it that the community is open to Silver Age as a format, both from a casual new player format and a competitive format. So that's going to be the really interesting thing, and maybe tomorrow we can sit down and talk about where the state of the game is in such a way that, which formats are most impactful and most important to support going forward. Is it going to be a Living Legend? Is it going to be Silver Age, or is there room for both? That would be an interesting, good conversation for tomorrow. But as it stands right now, with these two changes being made, your Chains of the world, your Viserais of the world are going to step down, and what comes up to answer them? On the face of it, using Fablazing's data, the Talishar win rates, they're not a great indication of everything related to, like where the meta sits. But I mean, when you look at the top 3 most, like represented decks, it's literally 3 Rune Blades and Starvo. And if the Rune Blades are taking a step back, Starvo once again remains star of the show. And it makes you ask the question, like, what do they do with this hero? How do they bring him down? Because they've hit him with just about every type of ban, and he's fallen all the way to irrelevancy and come right back up after they bring stuff back. That's the really intriguing thing. Where do they go from here? And Zen is one of those heroes that I see as being quite possibly a contender again, alongside of Dash.io. Dash.io can go very, very fast, and if given the opportunity to play against these powered down slightly chains, Briars, Viserais, maybe Dash.io rises up. And then you have to look at if these Rune Blades are now more susceptible to things like, well, it even says in the article, if we go to it, it mentions the fact that Chain is phasing down 3 copies of Warmonger's Diplomacy without batting an eye. If Warmonger's Diplomacy is now a stock rising type card, heroes that can leverage Warmonger's Diplomacy, again, like a Zen perhaps, those heroes start to come up in popularity and in playability in this format. I also would hope to see at some point Icelander Stormbind start to kind of come up and answer the Hair on Fire offensive aggro decks, but we will see if that is ever a possibility. I think fundamentally, they're going to revisit this format and they're going to try and find a way to make it work. And I think that that's a very good thing, because this is a format, Living Legend in general, is a format that is deserving of the time and the care, because it gives you the access to those old heroes. But the problem is they don't have enough time for that for the World Championship. And because they don't have enough time for the World Championship, we are going to see the format that evolves from Rosetta Thorn being banned and Deadwood Dirge being restricted. And hey, maybe we get something really fun to watch. Maybe we get something really cool to engage in. But I'll be honest with you, after playing a lot of Living Legend, I put the format down and I was happy to, because Classic Constructed was far better. I was having more fun in Blitz. There was less blowouts in Blitz than there was in Living Legend, less non-games in Blitz than in Living Legend. And then Silver Age got fully finalized and announced, and I jumped headfirst into that as well. And so you're kind of left going, well, where does the Living Legend format actually fall? And I think that's where most people are going to be gravitating towards. So what do you think about this ban and restricted announcement? How do you feel about it? I'm very intrigued to see how it actually looks for the World Championship tournament series, because it is going to be featured heavily, and specifically on Sunday in the top 8 where they play best of 3. So let me know what you think in a comment below, and as always, everybody, thanks for watching.